All right, today we got a Dodge Charger SRT8, 6.4, 6.7, whatever, and there's no communication. It's doing something really strange. We're going to try to knock this out today with the ultimate CANBUS tester. And as you can see, you just get this. Blank display, nothing. Can't turn it off and on. The air is just blowing, and that's it. No communication. We're using the launch today that they sent us out. Appreciate that launch. All right, guys, this is a quick sketch I put together of the star network that Dodge uses for the CANBUS. Basically, it's the way they segregate the network. And, you know, as much as I rag on a lot of these manufacturers and the procedures, the policies they use, this star network system using these connectors are actually very well thought out and very good. And in fact, I think it should be industry standard. I see no reason why it shouldn't be used across the board versus everything hardwired together. This is just a logical drawing of what it looks like. So if you can see here on the left side, I've separated basically the diagram in half. And on the left side, it starts with the DLC at the bottom, which on some models, 2018, you can pretty much have a gateway in there, the security gateway. So it will block you in case you try to do certain things, such as delete codes. This vehicle does not have a gateway, so we don't have to do anything special to bypass the gateway. As you can see, when it does have a gateway, all it does is when you connect up to that DLC port, it blocks you from accessing the network because it's before you actually access the network. So that whole trash can just be bypassed by connecting directly into the star connector. And that's one of the beauties of the ultimate CANBUS tester. You just plug in directly into the network, and that gateway is trash. It's doing its own thing over there on its own. Anyway, if you see on the top, we've got the PCM, for example, top left, ABS, and then going to the right on the other side is RF hub and the TPMS sensor. This is just an example of some of the modules that are on the network. It's a lot more than this, but this is just so you can understand what the network looks like and why it's this way, basically. So the star network, or the topology they're using, it's split in half. You see one star connector on the left, and then I got the dashed line, and then you see the other star connector on the right side. Now, this is just done because of logistics, just because of the length of the car. You could have every single thing ran back and connected to one star connector, but they just split it that way just because it makes sense, and you can separate the devices halfway through the car and split the network in half. Okay, it makes it easier in troubleshooting, and it's good design. Okay. By the way, I'm not from the automotive world. My original profession is I'm actually a network engineer. This is actually what I did. I designed networks like this, but for the enterprise, Fortune 500 companies on a way bigger scale than this, you know, so this is really a very simplified version of what the kind of stuff that I did and the type of designs I did. The major weakness of a network like this is if a certain device goes down, it can cause the whole network to go down and none of the devices can communicate. So I believe that's what's happening in this case. And that's one of the reasons why I developed the ultimate CANBUS tester. And it makes quick work of these type of faults, because we can see on the top of the blue reading you're going to see is CAN high, and below it is CAN low. So we'll be able to see the two buses, and we can see if it's down to ground, and then we can see when activities normal back up communicating. A normal CAN high signal can look something like 2.5 volts, and you can see something a little bit lower on the CAN low side. So you can see the logical link I drew of the cable between the two star connectors. If you unplug that one side of that cable, you've pretty much split this network in half. So the devices on the right side, the rear of the car, will be able to communicate with each other, but they cannot communicate with the devices on the left half. So that's a way to isolate where the problem is as well. So you can quickly determine if a fault is on the right side or the rear of the vehicle, or you can determine that the fault might be on the front of the vehicle. So let's go ahead and start, and let me show you. All right. All right, we went ahead and connected up the ultimate CANBUS tester. The ground cable, we just connected it to a metal part of the frame by the door. And we've actually connected the CANBUS test. Ultimate CANBUS tester comes with a connector especially for the Dodge Jeep Chrysler. So it's connected right now into the star connector. So it looks like we're getting all zeros. I don't know if you can make that out. It doesn't flash in person like this, but it's all zeros. So we're going to try to hit one by one. What I mean to say is we're going to pull each connector in the star connector one by one. We're going to pull it out and watch the meter on the ultimate CANBUS tester and see if we go from 0 to at least 2 point something volts, we get a change, right? So for example, if the first cable we pull actually goes to the engine computer, the PCM, and then we start getting activity and we see voltage on the CAN bus, that tells us that either the wiring going to the PCM is damaged or the PCM itself has a fault that's bringing the whole network down. But if we don't see any change, we're just going to plug it in and continue to the next one. On the CAN bus, on the star connector, entonces hermano, quita el primero ahí, and we're going to see if we get any difference. Okay, we took out the first one, no change. Sigue por el siguiente. No change, so we're gonna keep going down the line. Sigue. All right, we went down the whole line. We're on the last one. Dale, en el último. We're on the last one. None of them, there was no change. Now we're on the last one. And if you see that, it's up to 2.5, 3 volts on CAN high, and we've got our network back up. I haven't heard a beep. Let me see if I can hit this. I'm gonna try to see if the key will respond. I heard something click here. Okay, so we know the problem is, dale quita ahí, está medio conectado. Déjalo así suelto. So the problem is going to be on that branch coming from that cable that's disconnected right now, guys. So this is what I tell you guys. If you don't have the ultimate CAN bus tester, you see how quickly it can help you find faults like this. This is something that can take hours, days, and weeks if you do not have this tool. So let's pull up the network diagram and we're going to find out where that goes to. All right, guys, according to the diagram, that first cable on the star connector goes to the BCM, if that's correct. So that's where the BCM is located. There are two 10mm bolts he's removing, and we're going to drop that BCM and disconnect that cable, and we're also going to tone it out and just to make sure. But that's going to be a good chance to indicate that there's probably a fault with that BCM. Could even be wiring to the BCM, but most likely it's going to be a fault with the BCM. I was involved in a front end accident. Not really bad, but something definitely got damaged in this accident. So looks like there might be some stuff missing here. I'm not sure. We'll check that out too. All right, there should be another Starburst connector here under this, so we're going to pull this out. So you got to open that black cover and you should see the star connector in there. In fact, that's what that is, the white there. That's where how it sits in there. And there it is. There are 2 of them, as you can see. So we're going to target the one on the closest to the firewall, to the wheel. Ok, te vas quitando uno por uno, empezando con la más cercana a mí. So we're going to start with the closest one to the rear of the car. He's going to take it out of there first to make it more easier. All right. Empieza con este más cercano a mí, ese, y va uno por uno, y yo te digo. Okay, he's going to pull them one by one, and I'm going to see if our signal comes back. Dale. So, okay, that's not it. No es. Dale al siguiente. So that wasn't it. So he's going to the next one, and we're going one by one. Dale, sigue. So we're just going to go one by one and see if the network comes up. Sigue. Ahí mismo. Deja eso quitado. So we just found it. Which one is the offending module? Ahora ven por acá, enfrente. Enchufa falta un conector en el BCM. The BCM was not the issue. The wiring was incorrect. The diagram I looked at that pointed to this connector. But anyway, we found the fender module. We're gonna isolate it and see what it is. But the wipers just started coming on, everything like that. So communication has been restored. I see this trying to come up. We probably got a low battery issue. Yeah, we're gonna need a jumper, a better jumper. I'm gonna see if I hit this with the key. Yeah, now the key responds. I can turn it off and on. It's off, it's in run position now, and this actually came up. So just that quick with the Ultimate CANBUS tester, guys, you see how fast you can find and eliminate a problem, guys. Definitely, we got right now, there's still a $20 off coupon for 12K subscribers on the channel, guys. So definitely check that out. We're out of power, so now we got some power here. So everything is up. I'm gonna try to turn this off. Now, I think it should start. I'm gonna try to start it. Not enough battery, but it did try. All right, guys, we did try to crank the car. We even put a different battery in the car. We put the boosters on it and everything, and the engine turned over real slow. It seems almost like there's most likely some type of internal damage to the engine, but the mechanic is going to have to check that. We came here to basically restore communication to where the car can try to start. So our job is done here. In further inspection, my guy noticed that wheel, there was damage there, and I believe most likely the TPMS sensor is there because the cable that we found that is disconnected is actually for the TPMS sensor, and that fuse keeps blowing. Anyway, if you didn't know this, now you know, and knowing is half the battle. Click that thumbs up button, like and subscribe, and catch you on the next one, guys.